Why, hello everyone, how are you doing this fine day? Hope you're enjoying your week. Welcome to another survival challenge, in particular, a Helldivers survival challenge. We've done this video before, you guys should get the basic idea. Yeah, you guys seem to really like this kind of video last time I did it, so here we are again, doing the same thing yet again. It's crazy how that works. The basic gist of today's video is simple. We're going to take 4 science fiction fugitives and we're going to take them out of their universe and we're going to pluck them in to the Helldivers universe one at a time, just shove them on Super Earth and see what would happen if they broke some laws or did some shit or revolted against Super Earth as a government system, and how would that happen? How would they be able to survive against the law and order that exists within Super Earth? All 4 of these characters have quite a bit of experience when it comes to ducking the law in their own universes, so can they duck the law in this one? If you're not all that big on Helldivers, you don't really know that much about the law and order in Helldivers, the universe of Helldivers, the Helldivers universe, where this video is taking place, I don't know what you're watching this video for, but you can watch this other video that's essentially about the same thing, where I talk about exactly that. I go over all the different factions and police sort of law and order system that exists within Super Earth. You're not just going to be sitting there all dumbfounded looking at your computer screen and have no idea what's going on, because I will not be going over it a second time here. If you don't care, you already know everything because you're some kind of crazy psychic person, then, you know, just stick around and keep watching this video. It's cool. But I'm wasting up your time. Let's get started. First up on the chopping block, we have Yondu from the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And we kind of have to do this one a little bit differently than we do a lot of the other ones, because Yondu's not just a criminal. He's not just a fugitive. He's not just some dude by himself on the run. He's a pirate. More specifically, he's a pirate captain. It would be kind of weird if you took a pirate captain, you took away his ship, you took away his crew, and you just like tossed him on a planet somewhere and was like, you go out and commit crimes. Yondu probably wouldn't do that. He's a pirate captain. What he's gonna do is he's gonna get a crew and he's gonna go pirating. If we don't give him a crew, we don't give him a ship, then he's not a pirate, he's just a thief. The crew is kind of what makes the pirate. So specifically for Yondu in this challenge, we kind of have to give him a crew and we kind of have to give him a ship. Having said that, even if we do give him a crew and a ship, he still isn't gonna do particularly well. And this is for quite a few reasons. For one, Yondu and his crew kind of suck. Like, they're just not all that great. Most of his crew are really dumb. The entire Guardian series show pretty closely they are very incompetent when it comes to anything that they have to do. They are shown throughout this whole series to be unbelievably incompetent. Their ships aren't very advanced. They don't have very good guns and stuff on said ships. We actually see that Yondu has his own personal fleet, and that fleet is used at the end of Guardians 1 to go up against Ronan. But that fleet sucks. It can't overcome a single ship. It's a big ship, but it's just one ship. We don't see any ships under Yondu's command have any real amount of firepower. It's pretty tame stuff. The average super destroyer in Helldivers has way more firepower than even the main mothership of Yondu's fleet. Considerably more. And super destroyers are all over the place. Even if you go all the way on the border colonies of Super Earth's empire, you will still find Helldivers out there in those border colonies. You will still find law enforcement officers at those border colonies who have their own super destroyers that can overpower and overcome basically Yondu's entire fleet by itself. They have better travel technology. They have better handheld weapons. Your average Helldiver will be able to outgun any of Yondu's pirates. Their guns are better. Their armor's better. The Reavers don't even have armor. They're more skilled. They're very likely more physically powerful, as there's really not a whole lot of evidence that the Reavers have any sort of physical enhancements, whereas we know the Helldivers are genetically enhanced to be physically stronger and faster than a normal person. In pretty much every category, Super Earth is superior to the Reavers. They're just very underclassed both technologically and physically if it ever came to open warfare between these two groups. But let's just put all that aside for now and let's talk about specifically Yondu and how good Yondu is. And look, I get it. People really like that fucking arrow that Yondu has. It's cool. It's strong. It seemingly has some form of durability negation, as it literally goes through everything. We've seen it blast through the hulls of ships, go through thick armor, blast through prison walls. The thing just flies through literally everything. So I'm not even gonna try and argue that like the law enforcement of Super Earth's armor is gonna be able to defend against it. It won't. Their ships very likely won't be able to defend against it. It has a very high amount of destructive ability. Having said that, Yondu kind of sucks when it comes to using it, and it has some very clear weaknesses that are gonna be a problem for Yondu to actually be able to use it effectively. For one, every single time Yondu uses this fucking thing, he just stands out in the open and whistles while just not even trying to avoid damage, and all of his enemies enemies just look at him dumbfounded as they get killed by the arrow, not even attempting to shoot him while he's doing this. If you stop him from whistling, you solve the problem. Why are you just looking at him? Shoot him. The arrow's not that fast. We see it going around killing everybody, and it takes fucking forever. And these dudes are just standing there looking at the arrow, being like, man, this is wild. Look at it. This is crazy stuff. I hope that shit doesn't happen to me when it's very clearly gonna happen to you. Shoot the dude who's making it happen. Never do it. Throughout these movies, we've seen him use this thing like 3 or 4 times, and every single time he's just walking out in the open, not even trying to avoid, like he doesn't even hide behind some rubble or something and then whistle and have it go killing people while he's hidden. He just stands there. He's very cocky. One person just has to lift up their hand and shoot him and he's fucking dead. No one ever does it. Why? Now, some people might argue they don't have the time to do it because in reality, we're seeing everything kind of happen in slow motion. It's sort of editing to make it look fancy so we can tell what's going on. But in reality, the arrow is actually moving so fast that none of them have the time to react. This is just how fast the arrow is and how fast Yondu is capable of whistling to make it travel around like that. That's a cool theory, I guess, but it's complete bullshit. The fact of the matter is that the arrow can't be that fast. Like, it's physically not possible for the arrow to be that fast because the arrow has to be subsonic. It actually has to be significantly below subsonic. Why does it have to be at absolute maximum subsonic? Because Yondu controls the thing by whistling. He controls it with sound waves. If the arrow traveled faster than sound, which is what any normal bullet would travel other than subsonic rounds, which you wouldn't really use unless you're trying to like kill someone stealthily. Normal rounds don't use subsonic rounds. Then his whistles wouldn't be fast enough to actually catch up to the arrow and give it its commands. Basically, anytime the arrow moves away from Yondu, he would lose control of it because his whistles could no longer keep up with it to tell it to turn or stop or whatever it is they're trying to do. This means that the arrow has to be moving slower than sound and considerably slower than sound, because if it's flying away from him 20, 30 feet and he whistles and it's going close to the speed of sound, there would be a delay because it would take time for those sound waves to reach the arrow that is traveling away from it at nearly the same speed. It would catch up with it eventually, but there would be a very clear delay. The only way he would be able to control it with the precision that we see him control it in these movies is if this thing goes so fucking slow that when he whistles, the sound wave of his whistles hit that fucking thing basically instantly. And that's only possible if that arrow is traveling really, really slow. No, it is not that this thing is so fast that they just can't react. It's that they're just fucking stupid and they don't shoot Yondu when he's doing all his shit. We literally see in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 when Yondu and Rocket are escaping the prison, they're just walking down this platform. This arrow is flying all around them, killing tons and tons of people, and they're just being completely ignored. It's not like they take 2 steps and everybody's dead. They walk across the whole platform, and this arrow is just killing people the whole time. Not one of them stops for a second and shoots the dude controlling it. Why? Because they're stupid. There is no reason. It's just like a stylistic thing, and they want it to be cool, like action movies, you know, where you walk away from explosions. Kind of like that situation. It wouldn't be as cool if Yondu was like hiding behind some rubble and killing people and trying to protect himself in any way. That would be gay. We don't want to make Yondu gay. So instead, let's just have him stand in the middle of the fucking room and just have all of the other people be mentally retarded. Remember out there, kids, Uncle James Gunn says it's better for everyone else to be retarded than for you to be gay. The simple fact is that this shit would not work against the helldivers. They are fast enough to just pull their guns up and shoot Yondu if he's got this fucking arrow running around, killing everybody. They have plenty of time to shoot him, blow him up, drop a stratagem, do any number of things to he can't just fucking stand there. And you can say, well, that was a special situation. Yondu could actually get away with it there. If he goes up against a bunch of helldivers or a bunch of people on Super Earth, he's not gonna do that because he knows that he wouldn't be able to get away with it. But I don't buy that because he didn't know he could get away with it. He had no idea that one of those Reavers didn't pull a gun out and shoot him in the fucking head while he was walking down that path. How could he possibly know that? How could he possibly know at the ends of Guardians 1 when he was fighting all of Ronan's dudes that he could have a little arrow come out and just go through everyone and the dude would just sit there looking at him and not shoot him? He looked very confident in it. He very clearly looked like he knew that, but how did he know that? So is this section of the video kind of bullshit because it's mostly taking the stylisticness of filmmaking and using that as a weakness against the character of Yondu? Yes, but what am I supposed to do? That's all he does in the movies. That's literally his entire style of fighting, is to just stand out in the open and have this arrow fly around killing everybody, and it takes fucking forever. He is shown when fighting to be very cocky and arrogant and just expect that he's going to win no matter what because that arrow basically becomes his insta-win button, and he's extremely aware that it's his insta-win button. What happens if you throw him into a universe where it's not his insta-win win button, where characters do pull their guns out and fucking shoot you when you try to stab them with a goddamn arrow. What happens then? How does Yondu react? Who fucking knows, but I'm saying he's dying. If you don't like it, blame James Gunn for writing the character this way. If you're enjoying the video, make sure to like, subscribe, comment, share, and join the membership. Remember, join the membership, you get exclusive access to unique videos that no one else could get. An ever-expanding library of time-wasting bullshit waits for you in the membership. Don't forget to check down below at the pinned comment where you will see a link to the Discord as well as my second channel where I put any video that is not a survival challenge, me talking about all kinds of bullshit. If you like them tangents, go over there because that's basically what it's for. All of the topics that I don't make whole videos on here, that I have little tangents about, they go over there and make full videos about it and put them over there instead. That sounds like a good trade-off, right? I think so. Are you tired of this ad? So am I. Let's get back to the video. Next up on our list, we have Kestis from the Jedi games. Jedi Survivor and Jedi Fallen Order. Both of those two games together. And every time I use Kestis, people always ask me, like, why did you use Kestis? Kestis sucks. That's Disney Star Wars. Why didn't you use someone cooler like Galen Malik or someone from, like, the original trilogy or something? Fuck Disney. We don't want to do this. And the reason why I use Cal is because Cal is really, like, the only Force user that's, like, a legitimate, criminal that would work for this particular... Well, that's not true. Asajj Ventress was pretty clearly a criminal, and Palpatine was arguably a criminal for, like, 5 minutes, and Revan was another one. That was definitely... Okay, there's actually a lot of criminals I could have used. That's fair. That's a fair point. But in my mind, I do think Cal just sort of fits that criminal vibe for the video a little bit better than all those other guys. I mean, he legitimately went into hiding as a fugitive for several years and was able to evade the law that entire time. Not a whole lot of other characters have that. Most of the other characters like Revan and even Asajj to a certain extent, they are technically criminals, but they're more like war criminals. They're more like characters in a resistance or characters fighting against an opposing military force that then has to leave and go on the run. And it's not the same thing as being a legitimate fugitive criminal from the law. It's my logic and I'm sticking to it. Leave me alone. So in almost every single conceivable way, Cal Kestis is actually worse than Yondu here, which is kind of weird because you've been on my channel for any amount of time. You know that the people who go first do worse, the people who come after do better. So if Cal's here, why does he do better? Because he does better in two particular categories and only those two categories, but I think those two categories are significant enough that you can argue overall he will do better. And those categories are, one, he's not fucking blue. Yeah, that's actually a really, really important one. The fact that Yondu is a giant fucking blue man with a huge red fin sticking out of the top of his fucking head means it's gonna be extremely hard for him to evade the police because he's fucking blue with a giant red fin sticking out the top of his head. It's hard to hide when you're blue with a giant red fin sticking out the top of your head. And he can't get rid of the fin. He literally needs it to use his only useful weapon. Unlike Yondu, Cal Kestis can hide among the people. He can be stealthy and kind of blend in with the rest of society. And we've seen in the Jedi series that he's actually really, really good at doing this. He has shown multiple times with sneaking in heavily fortified military bases and compounds. They straight up say at the beginning of Jedi Survivor that he has spent the 5 years between Fallen Order and Survivor doing massive terrorist attacks to the Empire, including political assassination, something he would not be able to do unless he had some kind of relatively good stealth ability. And that segues us to the second thing that Cal's better at, the fact that he actually has a lot of experience with evading the law in a way that Yondu doesn't. I know you can assume that Yondu has experience evading the law since he is a pirate and has been a pirate since birth, but an important part of that is that he has been a pirate since birth with the Reavers. He was literally stated to be born in the Reavers, and the Reavers are a giant military faction, essentially. It's not just one pirate group. It is a massive army of countless fleets that all work together. They have whole planets under their control. Yondu has never been in a situation where he was just completely on his own, running from the law for years and years and years with nowhere to go and no one to protect him. Even when he's thrown out of the Reavers and he's just sort of becomes an outcast, he is still welcome on their planets and they don't boot him immediately. He's lost all respect, and Sylvester Stallone's character talks about how he will not die with honor and he won't be respected by the Reavers and they're not gonna like blow the colors during his fucking funeral thing that ends up happening at the end of the movie. You know what I'm saying, right? You seen Guardians 2? You get it. They say all that, but they don't actually legitimately outcast him. He still flies the Reaver colors. He's still technically considered a Reaver throughout all of the movies. Star-Lord constantly calls him a Reaver and his men the Reavers. So he's still a part of the organization. This is different than someone like Cal Kestis, who has literally been completely on his own for several years. We learned at the beginning of Jedi Survivor that he had a falling out with his crew, and he's basically been on his own ever since experience working with a bunch of different crews for the same goal, but he hasn't really gotten close with any of them, at least not in the way that he was with the original crew, because he's constantly changing people. The game's called Jedi Survivor for a reason. Cal Kestis is actually very, very good at surviving, in a way that Yondu just isn't. However, that is where the advantages stop, because in almost every other way, Yondu's better. While I do think that Yondu's kind of dumb for just staying out in the middle of the open and whistling and having his arrow do all the work, and him just clearly putting himself in the open to be fucking shot, at least the arrow is relatively effective and he can kill lots and lots of people using it. His weapons still have a purpose and will still be a challenge for his enemies to overcome if he finds himself in a firefight with Super Earth law enforcement. When you look over at Cal, you start to realize that all of his crazy cool Jedi shit isn't really gonna help him here. It is a known fact in the Star Wars universe that lightsabers do not defend against ballistic weaponry. During the Mandalorian Wars, the Mandalorians switched to ballistic weaponry specifically because it was so deadly to Jedi due to the fact that their lightsabers couldn't block ballistic weapons. Most guns in Star Wars universe are plasma rounds. In Star Wars, when you fire a plasma bolt at a lightsaber wielder and they deflect it, that plasma bolt will fire back. If you fire a ballistic shot, which is basically like the guns that we use that fire regular fucking bullets, and they decide to block it with their lightsaber, the bullet doesn't deflect back, it melts and keeps traveling towards the person who's trying to block it. So just like your mom, they get a face full of hot liquid and it just fucking sears their face off and they're done. It doesn't help them. And honestly, even if Super Earth law enforcement does decide to use their more energy-based weapons, I don't think Cal Kestis is going to be able to defend against that either, because the weapons in Helldivers don't work the same way that it works in Star Wars. The plasma bolts that are fired in Star Wars are just plasma, right? They shoot at you, you block it, boom, it bounces back. The plasma bolts in Helldivers are almost always unstable, explosive plasma. On contact, they blow up. Like for instance, if you fire the Scorcher, you shoot it, it hits something, the moment that plasma bolt hits, it explodes in a 5-foot fucking radius. Even if Cal were to take out his lightsaber and block the bolt, it would still explode right in front of his fucking face and he would be just scorched. His entire front would be basically gone. The non-plasma energy-based weapons of the Helldivers are light weapons. They literally fire light. They are classified as light-based weapons. This makes it very unlikely that Cal Kestis will actually be fast enough to deflect these weapons, as Star Wars use almost entirely plasma-based weapons. I know a lot of people like to argue that they're light-speed guns. They're not. They're plasma. There's no evidence they travel light. I don't know where people think they got this, but it's just not the case. All of this stuff combined makes it very clear to me that Cal Kestis' lightsaber specifically is going to be completely fucking useless here. That's going to leave only his force powers and his blaster. I'm not even really going to touch on the blaster all that much because he kind of sucks at it. He only uses the blaster as a supplement to his lightsaber. He never just uses the blaster solely. He's not very experienced when it comes to using guns. And actually, this brings up another pretty good point. Most of the characters on this list, if they can kill themselves a Helldiver and steal the gun, they can then utilize that gun against their enemies. Cal really can't. He has no actual training when it comes to using firearms. In fact, it's specifically a plot point that he doesn't like using them because it goes against his Jedi code to use them. He's supposed to only use a lightsaber. It's like a big thing for him to finally use a blaster for the first time in Jedi Survivor. If he was introduced to basically any firearm that exists within Helldivers that works more realistically to the way our firearms does, he wouldn't have any idea how it works for the most part. You ever try and like take a gun apart, clean it, reload it really quickly, fire, hit all your targets in quick succession? This is stuff that takes a lot of training with firearms, training Cal doesn't have. He literally uses a blaster as a sidearm with his lightsaber when he's fighting at close range for certain combos. He basically just uses the blaster as a form of distraction in conjunction with his lightsaber. So if his lightsaber's not useful and he's forced to have to use guns against people, he's just going to be a dude who's not particularly skilled with guns trying to use guns, and it's just not going to work out all that well for him. Outside of that, all he's got is the parkour and the force, which will be useful, but I don't think it'll be nearly useful enough to overcome all of the shit that he's going to have to deal with when he's on the run from Super Earth. The only thing that's going to help him survive more than Yondu is the fact that he has more experience surviving than Yondu, and that's about it. When it comes to an actual fight, he's probably dead against most Helldivers. Like one or two he'll probably take on okay. Maybe if he can kind of deal and grab his blaster and jump out of the way and use the force to push him or something like that, maybe, perhaps. But if he's going up against an entire squad with their super destroyers and all their other bullshit, there's just not a whole lot he can do. Basically, any one of their guns can put him down, and they're going to put him down fast. His only real hope here is to stay hidden as long as possible, which, again, he can do for a while. I mean, shit, we don't even really have any evidence that this dude has any skills with piloting. He always has another pilot flying the ship for him. So there isn't even any evidence that he can actually leave the planet of Super Earth and try and go somewhere else where Super Earth's control is a little less. It ain't happening. The best he can do is hide out for a while. And honestly, I don't think Cal Kestis wants to use his force powers, because if he does, he's going to become a very clear target to the helldivers, as they're gonna see a dude who knows fucking telekinesis. They don't have that in their universe. Nobody can use telekinesis. It doesn't even really matter how small of a crime he's committed to get him to go on the run in the first place. Once they see he has weird, crazy force powers, he's gonna be a bigger target otherwise. They're gonna want to fucking take him, study him, find out what this shit is, see if they can try giving their soldiers it. Is he an alien? Is he like a new alien race that can now transform into a human? Let's study that. Let's find out what it is. He's gonna become a main target. Not that even really fucking matters, because Cal Kestis is very gun-ho about saving the entire galaxy from galactic empires, so he's probably going to go after them anyway. But even if he didn't go after them anyway, the moment he reveals he has force powers, he is done. There is nowhere in the galaxy he can go that will be safe, and they're going to make him priority number 1 for murder. Next up on the list, we have Richard Riddick from the Riddick series, like the whole thing. You got 3 movies and you got a game. It's Riddick, all of Riddick. And I'll be honest with you, I can never take this series seriously. I don't know like what you guys think about the show. I actually don't know what anyone thinks about this movie series. I don't think I've ever talked about this movie series with anyone ever. I don't even know if people like these movies or not. But I've seen them all, played the game, and I just can't take them seriously in any conceivable way. It's just very clear to me that this series is written, directed, and acted in such a way that it is trying so unbelievably hard to make Vin Diesel look cool. And he's not cool. Some people just are cool. They just bleed cool. Everything they do is just naturally very cool. Denzel Washington, perfect fucking example. I don't think there's anything that dude can do that isn't cool. He just bleeds the concept of cool. Jason Statham is another one. Doesn't really matter what the dude does. He's basically always cool. Sam Rockwell, always cool. Samuel L. Jackson, pretty much always cool. There are just some people who are fucking cool. Vin Diesel ain't one of them. I have never once, not for a split second, watching any of these films, ever thought that Vin Diesel wasn't trying to be cool, and he was trying super, super hard. It's embarrassing sometimes. It gives me like this sort of, what do you call it? It's like when you, like secondhand embarrassment. This series oftentimes gives me secondhand embarrassment. I'm not kidding. It's just the way Vin Diesel says things and delivers his lines and moves. It all seems so unnatural and just like, he's just trying to be cool, and it's not cool. It's fucking weird. And the writing and direction are doing him no fucking favors. Basically, every single thing that happens anywhere across any of these movies, with the exception of Pitch Black, I think Pitch Black didn't do this nearly as bad, but Chronicles of Riddick and Riddick do it very badly. Chronicles of Riddick is the worst. Basically, every single thing that happens, every line that a character says, every event, it all happens just to set up for Riddick to do or say something cool. But it's so unnatural. Characters will just say things that no character would ever say in that situation, and he only says it for the sole purpose so that Riddick can respond in a cool way. The world of the Riddick universe will bend over backwards to make sure that Riddick looks as cool as possible, and it's very, very obvious. It essentially fails to do what shows like Reachers succeed at, where it actually makes the character look cool. Riddick almost seems like a satire of that kind of storytelling, where you're just trying to make this dude badass, but it's just not working. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about, right? So in Chronicles of Riddick, very early on in the movie, there's a scene where basically this entire planet gets taken over by the fucking Necronomicons or whatever. What the fuck are they called? Alright, I just looked it up. It's Necromonger. So the Necromongers show up to this planet and they take over the whole planet. They then take all the people in the area and they force them into this big temple thing, and they basically just like start threatening all the people. They threaten all the people in this room and tell them, okay, you're gonna serve under us, you're gonna bail on all your own gods, you're gonna start serving our gods, and we're fucking dictators. We're taking over your planet. You get how this works, right? After he says that, everyone in the room is like, no, what? That's not fair. That's crazy. You can't do that. And one dude walks out of the crowd and says, this is ridiculous. The world is filled with so many different people and religions. You can't force us to blah, blah, blah. And then the leader of the Necromongers comes up and kills this dude dead. Like the moment he comes out and steps out of line and starts saying some shit he ain't supposed to be saying, boom, dead. Everyone in the entire room then instantly decides to bow because they're like, oh my god, I know they just took over the planet and slaughtered millions of us, but I didn't know they were going to kill us for disagreeing. How horrible. Who could have possibly saw this coming? So they all disagree, kill one person, now all of a sudden they're all on board. I would have thought that taking over the planet and slaughtering millions of you already would have been enough to kind of deliver that message, but whatever. They needed to see this one ginger die. They're even willing to kill people without souls. So everybody kneels except for the all-powerful, all-great, almighty Riddick. He does not kneel. Instead of immediately killing Riddick, just like they just did this poor ginger guy, Carl Urban goes over there and asks him, relatively politely actually, you know, you should kneel. Why does he go over there and tell this dude to kneel, who they just murdered for not kneeling? Why did they give Riddick this opportunity to answer? Because obviously they want Riddick to be able to say something cool. So then Riddick goes, I bow to no man. Like, he's so cool. Just came in my pants. And then instead of killing him on the spot right there, they decide to keep talking to him. Not only do they keep talking to him, they let him keep saying his little fucking cool shit, and then eventually they allow him to challenge one of their soldiers to a 1v1 fight in front of all of this military. He does it, he kills their soldier, and they still don't kill him. Why? Why are you leaving him alive? You could say like, oh, well, this is their culture to like, they respect strength and they respect this sort of, well, why didn't they do that with the ginger dude who stood up against them? He walked up and stood up and said, you didn't leave him alive. Is it because he doesn't have fucking special protagonist powers? Why are they treating Riddick so much different than every other character in the movie? It's already been shown that if anyone even slightly speaks back to them, they get murdered instantly. Everyone in the movie that does this, we see this happen, except for Riddick. Why? Because Riddick has to look cool at all times. He can never be in trouble. If he gets arrested and goes to prison, it's because he wanted to go to prison. I've never seen anyone call Riddick a Mary Sue, but he is 100% a Mary Sue. Absolutely to a T. But it's even a little worse than that, because on top of being a Mary Sue, he's a Mary Sue who just seems like he's acting the whole time. That's not real. Like, you're not saying things because that's what you would say. You are reading off a script, trying to look cool, and it makes you seem like a fucking nerd. Stop it, Vin Diesel. This is terrible. It's awful. You know what the funny thing is? I don't even hate these movies. Like, it's cringy as fuck for sure, and I do have this sort of secondhand embarrassment when I watch them, but I don't hate them. I still actually kind of enjoy Pitch Black and Riddick. Chronicles of Riddick has its moments, kinda. It's not good, but it's fine. It's not that this completely destroys the series for me. It's just something that's always there. It's always in the back of my head while I'm watching it. I just can't take it seriously. I just can't stop picturing Vin Diesel when the camera starts rolling, start being like, ugh, I'm so fucking, look how cool I am. Ugh, with how cool I am. I'm just so cool. Ugh, fuck your wife in front of you and you love it because I'm so cool. It's hard to watch. I'm sorry, it just is. I just can't get past it. What was this video about? Right, okay, how did he do in the Helldivers if he was chased by police? I guess he would do great. Like, he'd do pretty awesome. He's fucking perfect in every way, except, you know, when he decides to not kneel and people don't kill him for some reason. As long as he doesn't do anything fucking stupid like that, like go up to Super Earth people and be like, I don't like how you do things, and I'm just gonna, I'm not gonna serve Super Earth. I'm just so cool. Don't you respect my strength so much that you're just gonna let me live for some reason? And Super Earth's gonna be like, no, and they're gonna fucking shoot him. As long as it doesn't do anything like that, we've actually seen that Riddick is capable of surviving on completely barren worlds with basically no food or anything to really do. He's capable of hunting and fighting. Like, he went to a planet at one point that was completely filled with animals that were toxic to him, and he started eating them little by little until he adapted the toxin so that he can then like start eating normally. And he spent several, I don't know, weeks or months there, basically bedridden, poisoned, while also hunting and killing these things. Again, he's a fucking overpowered, ridiculous, wannabe cool type character. So he just does whatever he needs to do. But if he wanted to, he could literally steal a ship because he's amazing at piloting. Again, good at everything. And then leave Super Earth, go fly on some barren backwater world somewhere where no one exists. Shit, even somewhere where like automatons exist. And he could just live on that planet out in the mountains somewhere and just survive there for basically ever. And he'll be fine. Like, it'll be great. The only way that he would really even lose is if Super Earth finds out where he is, and then they decide to fucking nuke the planet from orbit or like just bomb the entire mountain range that he's staying in, if they care to even do that, which I don't know why they like. Is he that important? Probably not. I know the Riddick universe thinks he is, but in Super Earth I just don't really see him being all that important. He can basically go anywhere and survive anywhere and just stay there without any need for other human interaction or anything. He's just cool. Like, he's literally spent years and years out in just wasteland doing literally nothing, just surviving there. So I don't see why he wouldn't be able to survive. Like, what would he have done to Super Earth to make them hate him so much that they would try and track him out in the middle of nowhere on a barren world somewhere? He spent more time this series on barren worlds than he has in actual civilization. He has no real reason to go and do anything with civilization because they haven't written him a fucking character in these movies. He just does whatever the plot demands him to do. It's really hard to try and decipher what he would do in the universe of Helldivers and against Super Earth because his actions don't have a solid through line of what he does, why he does it, or anything. Like, he's kind of a different character in every single movie. So yeah, I mean, he'll be fine. Maybe he'll get wanted because he murdered a Helldiver because a dude fucked with him or something, and then he gets in his ship and fucks off, and Super Earth can never find him again because he's just like in the mountains somewhere on some backwater world. That's all I really see happening with Riddick. It's a very uneventful scenario. Last up, but certainly not least, we have Paul Atreides from Dune, and he wins. He wins the whole thing. Ain't no point. There's nothing Super Earth can do to ever stop him, even if they wanted to. It's over. Nothing. Do I have to go on? Why? It's over. Fine, I gotta explain. Okay, I gotta explain it. He's omniscient. He knows everything. Paul Atreides is the Kwisatz Haderach. I can't do the the like Arabic Haderach. Whatever that is, he's that. It's basically the Messiah. It's the chosen one. It's the Jesus Christ, the second coming. That's basically what he is. He has the ability to see every single future timeline at all times. You know that thing that Doctor Strange does in Endgame where he's like sits there and he's like, oh, I'm looking into all the timelines? Yeah, he doesn't have to do that. He always sees all timelines at every single moment, always. He is legitimately and completely omniscient. This means that he'll only even become a fugitive against Super Earth if he wants to. Any crime he commits, any problem he causes, the only way anyone is even going to realize it's happening is if he wants them to know it. Because again, he is omniscient. I feel like you guys aren't really thinking about just how impressive omniscience is and like the shit you can do if you fucking know everything. Now, it is true that while in Dune he does become a fugitive, he only becomes a fugitive before he gets all the fucking crazy omniscience powers. After he gets the crazy omniscience powers, he basically ends the war really fucking fast. Like, he knows exactly what he has to say and exactly what he has to do in order to win the war. He then goes on a massive galactic war, going to war with every other house, and wins. Of course he wins, because again, he knows everything. If there is any way possible that Paul Atreides could take over all of Super Earth and become the sort of dictator, monarch, whoever, ruler of Super Earth, he can do it. He will know what that way is, and then he will just go through the actions he needs to make that happen, if that's what he wants to happen. If he wants to go chill on a farm somewhere, he can do that too. He can literally do anything because he's omniscient. I don't even have to talk about all the other crazy shit he's got, like the fact the Holtzman's shield blocks against any force at all. That's literally its main design. It stops things from coming through it based on speed, not based on force. The only thing that can go through a Holtzman shield are objects that are traveling between 5 and 9 centimeters per second, which is extremely fucking slow. This means bullets or any kind of projectile is moving too fast to actually travel through the force field. The only way to do it, you have to like take a knife or something and then slowly push it through the force field to get through him. And it's very unlikely that anyone in Super Earth will actually be able to do that to Paul, given that he's considerably faster, he's a lot stronger. He's been trained since childhood to fight in that exact same manner, basically fight slowly to get through enemy shields. And also, again, let me reiterate, he's fucking omniscient. Now, the shield does have a weakness to laser weapons. If you fire a laser weapon and it hits the shield, it causes a fusion reaction that causes a nuclear explosion. So any laser weapon that a Helldiver or somebody else fires at his shield could potentially destroy everything, like the whole city. However, that's never actually going to happen because Paul can decide when the shield is up and when the shield isn't. So if someone's using ballistic weapons against him, he can have the shield up. If someone is about to pull out a laser weapon and fire it at him, he can put the shield down. Why can he put the shield down? Because he's omniscient. The man is a mentat, which in the Dune universe is a genetically enhanced supercomputer human. Because in the Dune universe, they used to have AI and computers and shit, but then there was a giant robot uprising, because of course they were. This is science fiction. There has to be a robot uprising at some point in the series. Well, there was. And after the humans destroyed all the AI, they're like, yeah, okay, it's illegal to make AI. So now the only technological advancements that they can make aren't really in technology, but they're in genetics. So ago, people are actually genetically enhanced to be so intelligent that they have replaced computers with their brains. So on top of Paul Atreides' super advanced omniscience abilities, he's also got the mind of a supercomputer. And on top of all of that, he is a master in the fighting style of the Weirding Way, which is a fighting style that is supposed to only be used by women, specifically the Bene Gesserit, which are like a really dark version of the Jedi, which allows them to control space-time while they're fighting. Essentially, when they do a strike, their arms basically teleport to wherever they want to go. It eliminates the space and time between each movement. Like, if they want to stab you in the chest, you can't block it because their arm will literally just teleport from its starting location to inside of your chest, and you're just dead now. You're not there anymore. You're not alive. Basically, Paul Atreides has every amazing, over-the-top, broken bullshit thing that exists within the Dune universe all just shoved into one dude. Like, that's kind of the whole point of the series, is that Paul Atreides is perfect in every single, like, the series is about not putting your trust in monolithic figures. The idea here is that Paul Atreides is perfect in every single way. He is all wholly good. He is insanely intelligent, insanely skilled. He's everything that you could possibly want in a leader, and yet he still drives the entire fucking universe into a massive war, getting billions upon billions upon billions of people killed due to his own personal weaknesses. The Dune story was written specifically as a critique of people who just go all in supporting leaders without questioning them whatsoever. Do not support monolithic figures and hold them up as if they are holy figures. It's not a smart idea. That's what Dune is arguing. And in the Dune universe, it's very clear. Shit goes really fucking bad. Paul Atreides fucks this universe up very badly. But as far as Super Earth is concerned, yeah, there's really nothing they can do about it. In the Dune universe, there is a prophecy that was set up thousands of years ago, because the Bene Gesserit can also look into the future, and they set up this prophecy for this shit that was going to happen, and when this shit was going to happen, and basically set up this whole Messiah situation. Paul Atreides knew about this prophecy and then purposely set himself up to be that Messiah, basically making everyone believe that he was the coming Messiah that was set up previously. It's a whole thing. Point is, Paul Atreides is perfectly capable and willing to lie and set himself up as some sort of mythological figure over other people if it means he can get what he wants. Super Earth is already pretty gun-ho about shit. They're very nationalistic, and they kind of already have that sort of mentality for someone like General Brash. I don't think it would be that difficult for someone as intelligent as Paul Atreides and who can see into every possible future and dictate what he does based on that possible future to possibly supplant General Brash or become something similar to what General Brash is in this universe, as long as he says the right things, behaves in the right ways, takes the correct actions in order to set himself up in that situation. And there's really nothing Super Earth can do about it, because unlike Paul Atreides, they're not omniscient. Let's just put this out here right now. Generally speaking, omniscience beats non-omniscience. Like 99.999% of the time, omniscience over not being omniscient. Can we all agree on that? Is that something that I'm going to have like a lot of pushback for? I hope not. But that's going to be all for me today. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to click one of these other 4 videos and try any one of these videos that I have also made. They're going to be kind of like this one, but slightly different. And always remember, y'all stay safe out there, you hear?